questions to ask RHEA, a campaign with the confidence rising. I told WDF don't switch, good times are coming underneath and deep diving. Fan cams, reactions, watch along, still the pride of London thriving. The Eagles of South, they flying. Keep your eyes on us, we ain't hiding.
And I'm not muted. Good evening, everyone. Big up. Hope you're well. I always have to double check, boy, because I'm always like, this is the Everton preview. I think this is the one game. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for JC, but it's the one game I go into, like, apart from Brighton, that I'm like, I just want to give him a good batter.
That's only since you met me, isn't it?
Nah, I'm honestly that season with the whole fluke this and
Lampard, yeah.
Where you stormed Goodison Park and got in Vieira's face and in the player's face, that still boils my blood. But anyway, yeah, for the Everton preview. JC, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Fresh trim, feeling fresh, looking fresh. All good, all good.
Decent. And you know we had to get our mate Matt back. Just had a new job as well.
New job, yeah. Well, I'm actually there. I was only saying to Jordan offline there that the last stream I probably did was with you guys for the last preview that we did last season.
Yeah.
I just haven't had the time really to be doing anything, jumping on anybody's stream, even watching streams nearly. Like, so it's just been a bit of a mad year, but it was made permanent anyway in my job. So, yeah, it was worth it anyway. And so. Good job for life, so it was worth it.
100%, and appreciate you taking the time to discuss the game. We're going to kick it off though with Everton. It's been a steady rise. Let's just say that.
Slow burner.
Yeah, it started off really ropey, but you've started to pick up a bit of form. Talk us through that rise.
Well, I suppose we can go back to every time we talk to you guys. I think we have a different manager in place, so it's one of those. But I think I think was Sean Dyche in charge the last time we played you guys. I think he might have been, and Sean Dyche's job last year was pretty much just make sure we stay in the league, and we did that last game of the season. So thank God for that. But since then,
It's my ringtone. My phone's on silent now.
Alright. Yeah, but since the start of the season, it was kind of, we had a pretty bad start to the season. Obviously, losing games at home against the likes of Fulham and Wolves and Luton as well, thrown in there. But in the last probably 5-6 games, I think we're 5 games unbeaten in all competitions. 2 wins in the league and a draw, and then obviously we're into the quarterfinals, home game against Fulham in the cup to come up. So in the last, I think Dyche has kind of finally found his starting 11 that he's happy with. I do still think that he's a bit stubborn in terms of playing certain players ahead of other players. Like, I know Ashley Young is a very experienced player, but I don't know what much more Nathan Patterson has to do to get into the starting 11. Anytime he plays, he is still very raw, and I think Dyche likes his fullbacks to defend, and I think that's where kind of Nathan Patterson is probably weaker. He is very good going forward. But on the flip side of that, on the left hand side, Michaelenko isn't great going forward, but he's brilliant at defending. So that's what Dyche likes, and I think that's why he likes having Ashley Young there as well. So there is a stubbornness there with Dyche, but I've always liked him all along. I think he gets he's a very underrated manager. I think since David Moyes, he's been probably the most manager that's actually like David Moyes would be like Sean Dyche, like an old school English manager. There's not many of them left. Like you guys have one, obviously, in Roy Hodgson. So it's nice to see that he's doing well, especially considering all the outside noise that's going on with Everton at the moment. It's all still up in the air. Even when I texted you the other day, Rich, saying about the takeover, apparently that's up in the air again now. So there's talk of an Indian billionaire coming in, interested in the club. So I'm just wondering, are the 777 partners did they not get good news in the whole due diligence that the Premier League go through for fit and proper owners? So I'm just wondering, now has word got out and the Sharks are starting to circle again, because there is obviously a good deal to buy a Premier League club there who's going to have one of the best stadiums in England in the next year or so. So yeah, it's kind of, and like fair play to Dyche as well. Like in the last, since he took over, we've lost a lot of players as well. We had to sell Obi last day of the transfer window. We did bring a couple of players in, but he pretty much has worked with what he's got, you know. So, and I think he is in a good position in terms of, I think the last few times I was speaking to you guys as well, when we pick our starting 11s, I was always kind of, every time I spoke to you, I was like, oh, if DCL is fit, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin is fit, but he seems to be fit, touch wood, he seems to be doing well, but we're in a bit of a privileged position at the moment that if Dominic Calvert-Lewin cannot play, we do have strikers on the bench of similar mould in Beto and Chermiti there behind them now as well. So it's not all doom and gloom at the moment. We do seem to be playing well, and yeah, looking forward to the game on the weekend.
Is there any like upcoming injury news from like your front? Any players that you like? Yeah, they're not going to make it.
So I think Dyche was saying that there was a couple of knocks in the last game. Onana didn't play the last game because he picked up a knock in the Burnley game, the cup game midweek. But he was apparently playing with that injury, but they done the right thing by resting him against Brighton. And he was on the grass today training, so they're kind of just going to wait to see tomorrow how he reacts to it. Jared Brantwaite was the same, but he also was training today as well. So they're just kind of monitoring everything. But there's no real injury news. The two that are still out are Dele Alli and Andre Gomez. They're still nowhere near being in the team or in and around the squad. Seamus Coleman came back actually to play 60 minutes for the under-21s there during the week, which was great to see. And I think that's pretty much it. I think other than that, we're kind of at full fitness, which is a very rare thing. I mean, at the end of the day, if Andre Gomez and Dele Alli were fit, I don't think they'd probably be in the first 15, if that makes sense. I don't think they'd even be getting a game really at the moment, considering how well our midfield are doing. So we're pretty much at full fitness, touch wood, in the next couple of days, hopefully.
Yeah. Just on DCL, because obviously Beto came in and I think he did all right. You know, maybe he didn't hit the back of the net as often as he wanted to, but he definitely poses a threat, especially if you want to play a high line. You know, he's got the pacing behind, but he's also like his hold-up play is pretty decent. What do you think's the issue with him then? Because obviously DCL's coming in, and no disrespect to Beto, but I guess you look better, and I'm sure Beto's been dropped because of that.
Yeah, well, listen, I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin, when fully fit, is probably, you could argue that he's probably, in terms of out-and-out number 9s, he's definitely up there in the top 5 in the Premier League, for me anyway. When he's fully fit and on form, he's banging in goals. He does exactly what old-school number 9s do, hold the play, knock it along, chasing down dead balls. It's exactly what you want. But the only difference between the two of them really is that Dominic Calvert-Lewin looks a bit more polished. I think Beto is very raw in what he does. You can kind of see when the ball comes near him, it's like he's overexcited, and it's kind of like the ball might bounce off him a little bit. And I think Beto is at his strongest when he's kind of running at defenders, and he sees a bit of space, and he kicks it into the space, and he kind of just runs. He's actually very, very quick for a striker, and he does have a lot of similarities. But listen, it's his first. He's come from the Italian league where it's all kind of slow paced, and it is kind of that like get it in behind and run onto it and stuff. And you've seen the I think it was the third goal against Burnley in the cup game. He came off the bench for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he literally chased the lost cause down the left hand side, held the ball up, rushed off the centre half, and swung it in for Ashley Young for the goal. And that's what he's good at. So that's what we have there. He scored a goal in the first cup game, I think he played as well. So listen, he's raw, but I'm happy with the fact that if, and I keep saying if lightly, and I'm touching the table here, as I say, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin does ever get injured again, at least we have kind of some form of like-for-like replacement for him. Whereas last year we were kind of looking at Neil Maupay or Ellis Sims, and they just weren't. In order to play Ellis Sims or Neil Maupay, it was a change of system. Rather, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin has to come off, you don't have to change the system. It's Beto straight on instead, you know. So that's what I'm happy about. And Yusuf Chamidi as well. He's the third choice striker, but he played for the under-21s during the week as well. Scored the winning goal. That's a penalty. So he's very, very young. He's raw. He's definitely one for the future. But it's one of those where hopefully, I do think they brought in Beto and Chamidi in the back of their mind. They were kind of not hoping, but they were kind of saying, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin doesn't get over these injuries, we have these guys here. And that is a shame for Chamidi, because there will come a time where we're going to have to make a decision with Chamidi to say, right, we're going to have to send him out on loan. And is he going to be good enough to play for a Premier League team? Who knows? I don't know if his team or camp might be interested in a championship move. I don't think he's probably built for a championship move, if that makes any sense, because I know the championship you need to be fairly hard as a striker to play in the championship. But it'd be interesting to see him. But it's a nice change to have options in the attacking front for Everton lately, you know.
Sure. Moving on to Palace. JC, huge news from Fabrizio Romano today. We're obviously just waiting for the club to do something.
It wasn't even Fabrizio. It was a man like Edmonds. That's the guy who I go for all of our Palace news these days.
Oh, fair dude.
He's hit everything spot on lately. Not got
I
nothing
know.
wrong.
Was it Sami Mobe? Like, he mentioned it yesterday, but I kind of always wait.
Yeah, so I know that I think Edward Blackman, right? I think that's his name.
Edmund Brack.
That's it. But he seems to be on it with all the Palace news lately. He's got everything bang on. He said Eze deal done like a week ago, and it's only coming out now from Ornstein and Fabrizio and all the other ones. I'll never trust the Ornstein bomb again, because man said he says going to Chelsea, and we saw how that turned out. He signed a new contract at Palace.
To be fair, Fab was twerking for that as well, though.
Well, everyone was twerking for it, man. Let's be real. But
Eze is signing a new contract.
I'm happy that the club have basically done what we've said on the stream, innit?
Yeah.
They offered Wolf Zaha a $200,000 a week contract. He turned it down and went elsewhere. So we gave $100,000 a week to Eze and Elise, which is the right thing to do, in my opinion. Lock them both down for a little bit longer. I would say that we'll keep them this season. We'll keep them one more season, and then they go. Because then they've still got 2 years on their contract, and we'll still get a huge fee for them. And I wouldn't say I can't knock it, but I can tell that Parrish is doing this because he's getting a lot of crap from the fans for doing absolutely nothing in the transfer window.
Absolutely.
Like, bearing in mind the transfer business we've made, only one of the signings that we've actually made has started this season, and that's Lerma. I think we made 4 signings and only one of them has started. It just shows a lot, man. It just shows a lot. But whether he's doing this out of the fact that he's getting pelters on social media, or the fact that he actually wants to keep these guys, I don't think it makes up for the lack of transfer business. But basically what he's done is he's just added an extra 30 million to Eze and Elise's price tag, which I'm happy about. 100%. And we was going to lose them for a little or too little money, and now we can actually get fair value now. So, grand scheme of things, I'm really happy about it. And Eze's fit now. Eze is fit and he's ready to go. Elise is not going to be ready to go, but potentially on the bench. We'll find out from what Roy says tomorrow.
Yeah.
But Eze being fit, he'll probably start because he's been in full training for 2 weeks now. Came on, looked comfortable. I wouldn't say he looked comfortable, but he looked like he was fit against Burnley. Just needed a bit more match. So he had some minutes, and he should be ready to start in the next game, in my opinion. And our whole team dynamic changes so much. If you go from Will Hughes in the 10 to Eze in a 10. It's really incredible, man. I'm trying to
100%.
think of an
Will
analogy.
Hughes.
It's like it's like swapping Edward for Haaland up front. It really is. So
That's about fair. Yeah.
Not long ago, you guys are putting Will Hughes in our combined 11. Not long ago.
Yeah, but that's because Everton are terrible.
yeah, and we only had one good midfielder.
Yeah.
Eze was injured. We only had Decore, and the other one was only Hughes.
And Everton didn't have Ganagay, Onana, or James Garner at the time. So
No, I think he had Garner, but that was his first season. He was struggling a bit, wasn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't getting many minutes, was he?
yeah.
I remember, Seamus Coleman's got in there, and he probably still will now.
He's injured, so
He's injured, isn't he?
well, he's back. He's back. Actually, technically, he's back.
Well, let's wait for the combined 11 without injuries. Then he'll be there.
Oh yeah,
That's true. But for me, with the Eze news, I think the biggest fear was if we had got to the summer and he hadn't signed a new deal, then we're in big problems.
No, I thought January. I'm not gonna lie to you.
he would have been sounded out. He would have been sounded out in January if he hadn't signed a new deal. I think
100%. Because City wanted him for 45.
Yeah, we would have had to sell him.
Yeah, if he wasn't signing, he's got to go. Because in the summer, he's only got a year left, and we're probably going to get even less money.
Yeah, literally like 30 mil.
Max.
Maybe 40 if we could push it.
if there's a few teams interested, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So him signing this contract. Listen, I know JC reckons they might both stay another year, which I think is because they've signed a new deal is reasonable. But even if they were to leave next season, they're looking at around 70, 75, 80 maybe, depending on their release clause, which is so much better and so much more money to
and promising news as well is that apparently they've started talks with Mark to extend his contract as well. And man, even though I would like to keep Mark and Anderson, I still feel like one of them is going to leave at the end of the summer. And I think that if we're going to sell one, it'll probably have to be Anderson, purely because his price is going to start going down. Not because he's not a good player, just because his age is against him. He's 28 now.
We can afford to go one more year with Mark.
Yeah.
But again, it's to do with these things. Like we have the same problem. Like the lower table teams, the second half of the table teams. If big clubs come in for your players, it's game over. Like no matter what happens, even if you say you want Mark Gay, you want Olise, and you want Eze to stay. If City or Manchester United come in with £100 million bid, he's gone. That's the end of it. Like there's no
£100 million.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, we've done it with Aaron. We've done it with Aaron. 50 big man. 1 season wonder. Yeah.
Eze, thank you. 100 mil. Thanks for your services.
QPR, you have a little 15. We a little
But that's also the issue, because when you have sell-on clauses, that's why Palace will push for minimum 70, because they know they have to give 10 to QPR. So
but you know what? Just before we go into a combined 11, and I think this is a massive difference between our clubs. Yes, you're in the grand scheme of things, Everton are a bigger club. Yes, they may be struggling now, but they're a bigger club. But even whilst they were struggling, they're still selling off their players for 60, 50. Like Richarlison went off for 65-ish. It won't went off for like 28, 30. 22. Do you understand? Like you're still selling your players who may not be at their best for decent value, and we're letting us hang about and go on a free transfer.
Well, see, the only differences between our clubs in terms of that will be if Crystal Palace are kind of like a comfortable mid-table team. They might flirt a little bit of relegation halfway through the season, but they always pull away from it near the end. Everton have been struggling with relegation for the last 2 years. We're struggling to keep the lights on well in terms of paying bills. So, balancing the books, like we sold Richarlison the day before the football financial year ended because we had to balance the books. So we sold Richarlison, who at the time was Brazil's number 9, came off one of his best seasons with Everton, kept us in the league pretty much, and we had to sell him for 60 million. if we were in Palace's position where we were a comfortable mid-table team, Richarlison had 2 or 3 years left in his contract, we would have been in a position to say, no, he's not going anywhere. You can give us 80 or 90 million for him. You know, that's the only difference with us. And the likes of Iwobi only had 10 months left in his contract. So we actually done really well to get a player with 100 grand a week off our books and still bring in 22 million, even though we bought him for whatever it was, 28, 35 million in total. We still done very well to save pennies there in terms of getting him off the books and bringing in 22 million. It just happened to be on the last day of the summer transfer window and we didn't bring anybody in. But like I said, Dyche has done very well in terms with what he's got. He's brought James Garner into the team, and James Garner, if anything, is probably matched Iwobi's creativity, if not done better. So far, so that's a good thing, I suppose.
So one last question, say, because I know at Everton there are, I don't know if it's FFP issues.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know where it's at the minute? Because I know there's been rumors of like a 12-point deduction, or it could be a split where it's 6 this year, 6 next year.
Yeah. So
what is actually happening?
There's two kind of things at the moment. So obviously Everton had a negative spend of like 160 million. You're allowed, I think you're allowed a negative spend of 105 million per year, but it can't go over a 3-year period. It can't be more than 160 or 170 million or whatever it is. But Everton struggled with that, but they got away with it because of COVID. But it was all kind of like balancing books and stuff like that, and we just weren't very good at doing that. And that's again a reason why we had to sell Richarlison when we did. We sold Anthony Gordon in January, didn't bring anybody in, so that was 45 million pure profit. Yeah, so we're selling players left, right, and centre, and not really bringing anybody in. The Beto deal is 30 million euros, but we don't actually have to pay them anything until next June. So we're doing all these mad deals at the moment. We're moving goalposts everywhere to try and satisfy the Premier League. Now, apparently this rules breach that we're being accused of back in 2021-2022 season, I have a feeling it's to do with the Dele Alli transfer. I'm not sure exactly why, but apparently that's the FFP breach that we're being done for. Now, the Premier League are under scrutiny by the English government that they can't govern themselves. So basically, this is the reason why you see the likes of City and Chelsea get away with 115 FFP charges, because nothing's being done about it. So I have this awful feeling in my stomach that Everton are going to be used as like the guinea pigs, and they're going to be used as the Premier League showing the government to say, look, we can govern ourselves. We're going to fine Everton 100 grand and give them a 3 point, 6 point, 9 point, 12 point deduction. It's okay, we can govern ourselves, leave us alone. And the government will say, grand, no problem. And then Man City's 115 charges will just disappear. So that's the awful feeling that I have. Do I think it'll get to 12 points? I don't think it will. It might be a case where they say it's 500 grand fine and you have a 3 point deduction starting from next season. I think it might be something like that. Hopefully it's something like that, because I think we can live with that. I think if they gave us a 12 point deduction this season, even though we are on a bit of a better trajectory than the last 2 years, I think any team will struggle if they get 12 point deduction at this stage of the season. So it'll be the first time a team will ever get deducted 12 points, any points deduction in the Premier League. So it will be interesting, but I do fear that Everton will be used as the test tube baby in terms of leave us alone. We know what we're well able to govern ourselves. Look, Everton breached the rule 2 years ago. We slapped them on the wrist. We've given them a fine and a points deduction. Leave us alone. But then if you do give Everton a massive fine and you do give them a point deduction, what do you do with City then? Because you cannot be seen to fine and points deduct Everton and then not do anything with the 115 charges against City. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out regardless.
No, fairs. Let's say a few comments and hit the combined 11.
Big up Jamo, who got in here way before Rich fixed up the title. Big up Joe. He's my man who's hit the like button. Cheers, Joe. Big up Chairman. Big up Earth. Is that his original account back?
The logo looks different.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Tell us if that's a normal account. Big up Demo again. Big up Pat. So big up Rich T, the Goat, and Matt. That only Irish I can stand on the channel.
What's that? Click that. 25 minutes.
Well, tell him my mum's English. My mum's English out my loud. It's all right.
Don't worry, that's going in the clips. He says Braithwaite is a guy, but I know it's Branwaite. So
Brantwaite, yeah.
If we saw, yeah. What's the point with the Jamaica flag? Just I get asked all the time. It's where I'm from, innit? I got Palace 2-0. I hope so.
Hopefully so, definitely.
I put Mitchell. That's a dreadful idea. He's going to score 1 goal, and that's it.
Unless he's thinking clean sheet.
But we don't get clean sheets to get against Everton, no matter what, unless it's in the cup.
Yeah, and it's 50 goals.
Nah, hold on. Testing. Am I too soft?
Mate, I've got no idea. I think it's fine. Oh well.
All right.
If I was saying, might give us a wave.
Hey, bud.
New account from scratch. That's a shame.
Oh, that's stress, man.
All right, let's do this combined 11. So, Matt, you probably remember from last time, but we'll go through the rules. We're going to go through this twice.
Yeah.
First time, we're going to go through it, and it has to be only players that are fit and ready to play. Second time, we'll go through, and it can be anyone whatsoever. Fitness, not an issue. Only issue is there has to be at least 3 players from each team. So you can't have a full Everton team. You need to have at least 3 Palace players in here. What formation do you want?
Sound, yeah.
Goalkeeper.
Ooh.
Formation. I think I'm gonna go 4-4. 4-4-1-1. I think is kind of the one that Everton play. What do you guys play at the moment? You are kind of 4-4-2 ways. 4-4-1-1 as well.
Sort of this, but the wingers are pushed up a bit, but there's not really much difference.
I think we're kind of the same, actually, to be honest with you.
We're going to start with a goalkeeper. 2 England internationals.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. You know what? I was annoyed last week with myself because I actually had I have Johnson and I have Pickford in my fancy team, and I put Johnson in my team, and the last minute I changed my mind. And obviously Pickford was only 5 minutes away from getting a clean sheet, and he would have probably got bonus points as well. But then Johnson ended up getting 7 or 8 points as well, and he was on my bench, so I was disgusted. So I think Johnson's done well for you guys, hasn't he? The start of the season, he's done all right. But I still have to back the true England number 1. I'm going to put Pickford in.
Well, a little armchair.
I mean, it's definitely Johnson, but I can see why, because you might not get many other areas in it. That's why.
Stop it.
Left back.
Surprised you didn't say Henderson, but that's probably for the next one. Is it the fully fit players? Is it?
Nope.
Well, we don't know.
I'll give you Mitchell for left back, even though I think Michaelenko's done well, but I like Mitchell.
Right back.
This is the one that you guys always let me have. Don't just the right back position. So I'm kind of. I want Patterson in there. But I have a feeling that Young is going to start this weekend.
Well, this is your 11. Don't worry. This is your 11.
Oh, this isn't what we think. Oh yeah, sorry. So Patterson, I'd rather Patterson in there than Young, to be honest with you.
Your centre back duo.
This is tricky because I think Branthwaite has been absolutely brilliant this season for Everton. He's been exactly what we need, and Tarkowski's been brilliant as well. But I think I want one of the Palace lads in there as well, though. But who do I take out of Everton's back 2 even? I think Gahey and Branthwaite would be good together, wouldn't they? Gahey play off the left, does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, put Gay left and put Brantwaite right side. Type in Jared. You might find it easier, Jared.
There you go.
There you go, yeah.
Cool. The two sort of midfielders, sort of the eights, 2 8s.
Yeah, I think kind of a deep line one for me though, but I'd have to put Onana in there. Definitely, he's been brilliant this year for us.
Isn't he not fit though? Didn't you say?
He is fit. He's back for fitness. Yeah, he just didn't play. He didn't play against Brighton, but he is fit. He's back.
Rich, you know, I was kind of hoping for a Decore midfield.
But the is actually playing in that number 10 role for Everton.
Ah,
yeah.
And so I'm not going to say anything. This is Matt's team.
So you want Onana in midfield, not in goal. Who is your other midfielder?
Go on, I'll give you Decore there on the left.
Your wingers.
Who's your fit left-handed sided player at the moment?
Are you? Or no, Schlupp.
Schlupp.
Yeah, put McNeil there, please.
On the right-hand side.
Jack Harrison is playing there for us at the moment. So
is he doing well?
He is doing well. So who's on the right hand side for you guys?
Are you?
Yeah, Jack Harrison's gone there, yeah.
Don't disrespect IU, you know.
Hold on, I need to have a look at this because I think I'm good. I have the 3 players. I have 3 Palace players.
Yeah, you've got.
Yeah, I'm good.
3 Palace. Your attacking midfielder.
Rich is just waiting to scream. Is Eze fit? Is he?
Yes.
I put him there then.
And I'm guessing it's going to be Calvert-Lewin, right?
DCL up top. Now, I will say, it's definitely. I like the midfield. I'm actually quite happy with that team, to be honest with you. I think it's a fair team. Rich is disagreeing.
I mean, Rich, what do you think, mate? What would you do?
Sam Johnston in goal.
Pickford hate was outrageous.
Anderson next to Gay.
Do you really think Anderson's better than Brantwaite and Tarkowski?
Yes.
Yeah.
Stop. He's not.
Who's on the left?
For them?
Is that McNeil?
McNeil.
Yeah, take him for IU.
What, are you there instead of McNeil?
Mm-hmm. Only because I like Harris. I do like Harris.
You're laughing at me for when you're putting Jordan Ayew ahead of McNeil. Stop.
Respect Jordan Ayew, especially this season and the back end of last season.
No.
Never. You've still got 4 Everton players in there.
Yeah, but the right back, there's not much we can do about that.
Yeah.
I like Onana, to be fair to him.
I can't believe you put
Onana's Everton's best player, in my opinion.
Who do you think's better then, Ayew or Danjuma?
Danjuma's wasted talent, you know.
But would you put Danjuma in the team ahead of Ayew?
No, because he fobbed us off, so he can stiff.
Yeah, but if in terms of this team, would you put Danjuma in ahead of Ayew?
What, based on this season?
No, just in general.
Oh, in general.
But I see him more as a striker.
Yeah, but he's more of a 10.
He likes playing off the left though, and he's currently being kept out of the team because McNeil is. Well, that's just down to Dyche because Dyche likes workhorses in his team. That's why he has Harrison and McNeil. The two of them don't stop running, and then he has the Curry in the number 10 role that drops into midfield as well. So, but
So
that's the reason why.
if we're saying that
PCL's fair, yeah, I'll leave it.
If we're saying there's no injuries now, Harrison's gone, and Elise goes straight in there.
Yeah, fair.
I think that's
Or
it.
could Harrison go on the left?
Harrison can play on the left for Leeds. He's done it before.
Yeah. I think he likes playing off the right.
I think he was a very good signing for you.
He was not right McNeil at all, no?
He's not better than what we have. He's all right. He's decent. He may even.
I mean,
I don't know.
If I'm Rich, if I'm honest with you,
McNeil was Everton's player of the season last year.
Yeah. If I'm being honest with you, Rich, I'd back McNeil over Harrison this season. Because when we was doing our research for Tactical, Dan was raving about him for like a good 10 minutes. So,
yeah. It's all right, but for me, whenever I've seen Harrison play, he's always had an impact against us than McNeil has.
Yeah, but that's been for Leeds, though, no? Not for Everton.
Yeah, true, but it's constant. Like, it's always an impact.
I can't believe you've put AU ahead of any other players.
Because you don't watch football, mate.
All right, fair enough. Nah, surely Harrison or McNeil are ahead of AU on that team.
I'm
Harrison over McNeil.
I'm putting McNeil in on the left.
Good man. And I still think that you are doing a disservice to Tarkowski and Brantwaite, either or being in the centre backs.
How many clean sheets do you have this season?
Respect our centre backs. I hope they keep
No, I never said they're not. I never said they're not. Like, they're obviously like Gay and Anderson are brilliant. Right. Tarkowski and Brantwaite are up there for in all the stats.
And Anderson and Gay. Let's see if we go. So Man City, I'd say are probably better. Arsenal. See where Saliba's like up there, and then Gabriel's kind of like here-ish. Spurs, Romero and Van de Ven, maybe they're a good partnership.
Oh, Van de Ven's injured and Romero got a red, so man is a walking L. We're better than United. I don't care what anyone says.
Well, Johnny Evans and Maguire at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, better than United's what's backline. Newcastle's can be quite solid. Like literally, Anderson and Gay
when Botman's fit. When Botman's fit, definitely.
Yeah, Botman and Shaw normally, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, Anderson and Gay are up there. No word of a lie.
Top
five. For me, top five.
Yeah. I'd say top 6, but I think it's definitely up there.
100%. You've alienated a lot of our fans, Matt.
Well, bring them on. I don't care.
I think one of them, not a lot of them. There's
those vexed.
Mitch saying you get clean sheets when it's 0-0. Big up all. Rich Cameron's got glitchy tonight. John Stone, I'm sure he's saying this guy ain't serious. Big up Matt. Can't stand Everton fans. And this guy is gassing he ain't fit. Is he having a laugh? Pat says Eddie's better.
What are they cute? What are we giving out for? I don't think I've said anything wrong.
I don't know, but he's still going. T-Rex can't play in goal. You don't watch football. Rich, take this guy off MSN. McNeil was whack. It's got to be the worst.
I'm not listening to Palace fans give me grief over Jordan AU. Feck off. No chance.
That was about right, but I put Decore over Decore. Nah. That's a sin bin.
Yeah.
No overcheck. But you know what? He has been good for you, though.
Yeah.
At playing that position, he's doing really well.
Yeah. He's done well.
His role is strange because he's playing a 10, but when he's defending, he's sort of playing a free role. He just sort of follows the ball everywhere.
Abdoulaye Doucouré for Everton.
Yeah, he's just everywhere all the time.
It's just because he's just an athlete. He's just an engine. So I think if you put him in a midfield three, he gets, like you say, he just follows the ball and he gets a bit lost. So he kind of falls out of his structure. And I don't think Dyche likes that. Whereas if you have him just as that kind of floating number 10 man who can defend, who can drop into the midfield when we're being over the run, or he can kind of chase down the channels. He literally doesn't stop running. That's kind of, Dyche is obviously using him to his best of ability. Like it's to see his comeback, like considering the fact that he was nearly going to Fulham. I think it was last January. I think he was nearly going to Fulham, and he's after getting an extension onto his contract, and he signed a new deal there during the week as well. So just goes to show you, the right manager playing the players where they should be. It's refreshing. And the Curry's done brilliant. I think he's a top goal scorer in the last 10 or 15 games as well. So
I was just gonna say that, like, for someone who normally plays as a deep line midfielder, his finishing's decent.
Yeah, he was unlucky not to score a good goal there as well against Brighton. He kind of swiped his left foot at a volley as well, and the keeper made a good save. But yeah, I think he'll always go down in terms of, I'm not saying it's glorious Everton history, but he'll go down in some form of history, scoring that goal against Bournemouth last season, keeping us up, so he'll always be remembered for that. And I think Everton fans love him for that as well. I don't think any Everton fans really have a bad word to say about him, because they know most Everton fans just want to see their players work their socks off. And I think if you look at that team now at the moment, there's no real prima donnas in the team. You can go through the whole team and there's no real prima donnas. You can kind of say Pickford's a bit of a lunatic, all right, but you go right through the back four, through the midfield, whether it be Idrissa Gana Gueye or Garner in there with Onana, they all kind of are playing for the shirt now. There was a time with Onana towards kind of middle of last season where Dyche wasn't playing him, and we're kind of saying he's not gonna last here under Dyche. But he seems to have probably had a word with him during the summer, and he sat down and said, "Listen, this is how you have to play for me. If you don't play this way, you're not going to play." And he's done really, really well on Onana this season. So him, James Garner coming in as well, brilliant. He's been absolutely fantastic for us. And like you say, I don't think, like, technically Harrison and McNeil aren't that pleasing on the eye, but they can do well. They work their arse off. And that's what Dyche wants. And obviously DCL, like I said before, I do think DCL is definitely, when fully fit, scoring goals. He's definitely up there, top 5, number 9s in the league. And I think if he had stayed fit for the last 2 years, he wouldn't be at Everton. He would be at a top 5 club, I think.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the game. I'll start off with the Palace front. I think this game's going to mirror the home game last season. Just hopefully this time around we actually score. I reckon we'll dominate possession. I think your biggest threat will be if you go straight, like, direct to DCL. Because what he did do well last year. Like, I know he came back, he wasn't fully fit, but he came back and he was just a nuisance. He should have scored, to be honest, last season. And then obviously if Harrison and McNeil and Doucouré can get close to him, then I think you'll get a lot of joy of that. And then attacking front from us, I'm hoping Idris Gana Gueye plays, because he loves the yellow card. And I think Eze could just exploit that.
Yeah.
The only question is, will we be clinical? That's the only question, because last season we weren't. Actually, yeah, we were. But, okay, will we create enough chances? Let's change that, yeah. Because we were clinical against Burnley.
That second goal he scored against Burnley was brilliant, by the way.
Yeah, it was
brilliant.
Well worked, considering how late it was in the game, and fair play to Mitchell. Like, I don't know what he's doing.
When we're trying to hold on to a 1-0 win, and then we score with our fullback, you're thinking, hold on, is that wrong?
No, this is it. So I think we'll have control. I just think we need to just keep the pressure. And I would like to see Mark Gueye pin himself on DCL. Pause, just in case. Because
would you not think it'd be the other way around? Would you not think Anderson would be the one to pin, though?
No, Mark's more physical. In my personal
I just remember Anderson with Nunes Darwin Núñez. Remember, he was just
I mean, he bought the red card, but you know.
Mm.
I mean, if it is to be Anderson, then obviously Gay would have to obviously drop like 5 yards, just make sure he's just covering in case, you know. Having Lerma and Decore really helps us, I think, in this game.
I genuinely believe that Lerma could outjump Calvert-Lewin in the air.
That could actually happen, and maybe just place him right in front of to prevent him from winning headers, you know.
But that's what they're going to do. That's where our Decore comes in as the number 10. Like that's what happened.
Yeah.
So like
him and Calvert-Lewin just follow each other around.
They just follow each other around, and like Decore just runs off DCL, and DCL runs off Decore. So you're going to have to keep your wits about you in terms of the centre back pairings, who picks up who, because if Anderson and Gay kind of are both looking at DCL, then where's Decore going to go? You know, so yeah, I think Everton pose more of an attacking threat this year than we did last year. So I think it is going to be interesting to see how it pans out. Like you said, Rich, I agree with you. I think Palace will have probably upwards, if not more than 70% possession. Wouldn't surprise me. Everton only had 20% possession at home against Brighton, but that's our game plan. We sit back, we absorb the pressure, and then we just go for it then. So we try and catch teams in the break. We don't hold on to the ball very long. We try and go through the phases as quick as possible and try and get shots off. We're still creating a lot of chances. I think we 12 shots on goal or 13 shots on goal against Brighton. I think a good few of them on target, but it's just ball retention is an issue. But I think that's part of the tactics.
Yeah, one thing that Everton are really good at is the fact that they just press so high up the pitch. So, for example, they've actually got more shots and a higher XG than Tottenham so far this season, because the amount of times that they've won the ball from the centre backs trying to play out from the back, one dribble and a shot straight away. Mm-hmm. So I think they've got like the most shot creating actions in the league, like by a long way from forward players. Yeah. So we're going to have to keep on our toes, because we do like to play around the back, and that's something that they thrive off of. If they grab the ball from there, they're in a very dangerous situation, because, as we said, Decore will just follow Calvert-Lewin around.
I think Roy would know that from last season, because they pressed us really high.
He will.
DCL and who else was it? But they literally, it was their game plan. Don't get Anderson the ball. And I think now that we've got Johnston instead of Gaeta, we can bypass passing at the back. I think it was against Spurs. We were just like, yeah, all right, cool. We're going to just keep clipping it to Ayew.
But what I do seem to think is, you know, at the start of the game against Burnley, when Johnstone passed it to Decore and the Burnley players were on him, and to be fair, they really should have scored when they took the ball off Decore in our box. If that's Everton and that's Calvert-Lewin, that's in the back of the net. So even though we shouldn't be mucking around with the ball, we still do. I don't know whether that's a bit of Vieira still lingering around trying to play the ball around, but our centre backs and our goalkeeper still have the tendency to do it. So that's why I'm not fully convinced with how we're going to play this game. I do not see us keeping a clean sheet whatsoever here. But I think
Everton happened.
We're going to see Ward get cooked by McNeil. I think we think that we've seen Ward get cooked by a few players so far this season, but I reckon this is going to be this is going to be one of them ones where it's underrated. You're probably not looking at thinking, oh, you know, Ward might. No, I'm telling you, Ward's going to get cooked by McNeil this weekend, because he just likes to kick the ball past you and run and then whip it in the box, and that's something Ward can't do.
But you know what's funny? The way McNeil's going to play, I think Schlupp should play the same way. Let's just assume he's going to play on the left hand side. There's no point of Schlupp trying to, like an inverted. There's no point. Just run Ashley Young down the line. You know, I think that might be where the biggest battle is going to be. You know, because I think on the other side, Harrison versus Mitchell, I think will be a very tough battle. The same with Ayew versus Mikalenko will be a tough battle. So it'll be interesting from both left-hand sides how it's navigated.
I'm just going to say, Matt, your centre-backs aren't going to have an easier game to play in their life after this game, because Edouard cannot handle strong centre-backs.
Yeah, like Brandt, like whatever about Tarkowski's like so solid, like nothing really gets past him. I think he's most blocks this season. I think he had the second or third most blocks last season as well. And then Brantwaite is just complementing Tarkowski. I think Tarkowski, when Michael Keane, for example, is playing beside Tarkowski, you can see Tarkowski drops off a couple more yards because he's not sure what's going to happen. Whereas with Tarkowski, or with Brantwaite and Tarkowski, they're so confident with each other already, which is great. And the only issue that we have with Brantwaite is that he's so young. He's just signed a new contract. He will be the next centre half to be signed for big money, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if someone like City or United come in for him in the summer. And that's why I think Everton made him sign a new deal, because they kind of knew he was going to go somewhere. His market value was only like 15 or 20 million euros. PSV were sending us, trying to sign him on a permanent deal. So Everton done the right thing, give him a new deal. I think he's going to be brilliant for us for the rest of the season. But yeah, I think it's, for me, in terms of this game, Everton have been playing better in terms of actually scoring goals away from home this season for some reason. We've only started scoring goals at home in the last 4 or 5 games, whereas I think we lost our first 3 home games 1-0, even though we played really well in those 3 games. We just couldn't score. But now we've kind of found that rhythm. We found our starting 11. We found the system that we want to play, and it's working at the moment. So we do, like Jordan said, we do have a high XG. We do have a fairly decent shot on goal percentage, shots at goal as well. So I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet either. So I'm kind of looking at like a 2-1, 2-all game either way, to be honest with you. That's what I'm thinking that this game is going to go.
Yes. JC, score prediction.
I'll tell you now in a minute why I support Everton, but yeah.
I can't remember what I said on that Eagle. I have to go back and look, but I think I said 2-1 because I can't see us keeping a clean sheet, but I feel like with some good play and with the momentum of Eze being on the team, I think that we might do well. But historically, we have a pretty... No, that's it. I said 1-1. That's what I said, 1-1. Historically, we've got a dreadful record against Everton. It's always L's and draws. So I take a draw against Everton. Even though it's at home, even though they have no possession, Sean Dyche is just a manager and a playing style that we just seem to struggle with. So, yeah, 1-1. I'll be happy with a point.
I'm going 2-1 Palace.
I think I said 3-1 though, didn't I, Rich, in the text to you, didn't I?
You can always change it if you want.
No, I do. I think I'm going to back Everton. I think we'll win, but I don't know if it'll be 3-1. I'm thinking kind of more 2-1 now, but I'll take 3-1. I'll stick with 3-1.
Yeah. I'm going to say 2-1 Palace, and here's the reason why. I think Elise gets 40 minutes.
You wish. No, he won't.
Roy's been raving about him in all his presses. Well, we got to find out tomorrow. Let's see if he says he's in the squad, he's playing 40 minutes.
He's not. He'll play 10 minutes max.
Listen, Roy's twerking for Elise to be back. You heard him in the last presser. Eze and Elise.
He's definitely twerking for him, but that's not a sight I want to see. Matt, do you want to take us through that story then?
Yeah, so it is kind of the whole, my dad supports Everton, so that's the reason why I'm an Everton fan, but a lot of Irish people, when they're picking their teams to support back in the 70s and 80s, they used to basically pick between the 2 teams who were in the FA Cup final that year. So I think back in the 60s, 70s and 80s, there was only one televised game in Ireland, and that would have been the FA Cup final. So whoever won that final, that would be the team you support. So as luck would have it, or as luck wouldn't have it, the year Everton won the FA Cup final, my dad actually went to the game with his 2 brothers, and Everton won 1-0 in the cup against Manchester United. So the three with 2 uncles and my dad came home supporting Everton.
So you could have been a United fan.
I could have been, yeah. But no, so even when I was younger, and I played for a team called Shelbourne, one of the biggest teams in Ireland. And we had an affiliation with Manchester United back when I was playing for them, when I was under 10s, under 11s. So all of our kits had like Manchester United crests on it, and we were getting like Manchester United tracksuits and stuff like that. So my dad was kind of looking at me saying, "You better not start supporting Manchester United." And this was at the time when they just came off winning the treble as well. So Man United were the best team in Europe, if not the world at the time, you know. So, and then the following year we went over to Liverpool as a club, Shelbourne as a club, and we ended up playing the Liverpool Academy, and we beat them. But as luck wouldn't have it, that weekend Liverpool were away and Everton were home, and Everton were playing at home to Bradford, and Richard Dunn was playing centre half for Everton. That's how long ago this was. And Everton won 4-0, and I was like, "Geez, these are brilliant." But it just so happened to be that we were playing against Bradford at the time, and I went over to the club shop and brought a jersey, and that's pretty much been since. I've always supported Everton, to be fair, but I've been a proper Everton fan since I've been about 10, 11. But I have been an Everton fan since I've been playing football since about 4 or 5 years of age. Really, like that's the story anyway behind it.
Fairs. Well, there you have it, guys. This is the.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, we'll find out for definite tomorrow when Roy's press up.
Loso's trolling, clearly. And yeah, that's all.
Yeah, big up everyone.
It's a big game. It's a big game though this weekend, because like I think if Everton get the 3 points, we're only a point behind you guys. Kind of brings us back into that kind of mid-table bunch. Gives us a bit more breathing room. But if you guys win as well, I think he's got to 18 points. He's well up there. Like, you know, it's a big game on the weekend, even though it's early on in the season.
Yeah, we're on 15 points. 18 points would be crazy, you know.
That's what I'm saying. So like
you know, I think if we have 18 points, I think it'll be our second best in the,
halfway to safety. Halfway to safety.
Like when you actually deep off our forward line, yeah.
If you deep our front line and the injuries we've had, and we've still got 15 points right now, Roy has worked a miracle so far.
Yes.
He's done well, to be fair to him.
It can be as high as 7th. As high, but obviously that's depending on other results. So
yeah, so you guys have Everton, Luton, West Ham, Palace in the next 4 games. Oh, sorry, West Ham, Bournemouth. West Ham, Bournemouth in the next 4 games.
I want 10 points, you know.
But then
yeah, that's what I'm saying, because December is crazy.
But then you have Liverpool, City, Brighton, Chelsea, Brentford, Arsenal. we have a tough December as well, to be fair.
That December? Yeah, it's long. But we're not there yet. We're in November. Let us enjoy it.
Yeah.
Guys, big up everyone tomorrow. So the presser will probably be out about 1 p.m. or something like that. But I'll go live to just obviously dissect that around 7 p.m. tomorrow. Hopefully we get good news on Elise. Saturday we're at the game, obviously. So guys, feel free come chat to us after the game. We do the fan cams, which are normally out at some point that Saturday or /Sunday morning. The work that JC and RHEA do is crazy. So like, please just smash the like button when you see it, guys. And then Sunday we'll have our match reaction. So if you happen to be free again on a Sunday, Matt, probably either 5 or 7 p.m. We always change our minds. Let us know.
Shoot me a text. Should be all right.
Yeah, and then we'll do a match reaction on the game.
If we win, I'll definitely come on.
Shock.
If we lose, I won't be available for some unknown reason.
Said absolutely no.
I'm not inviting you. What do you think? If you win, I'm going to send you the link. Are you all right? Anyway, guys, big up. Hope you have a good day and enjoy your weekend as well. And I'll catch you tomorrow evening. Up the Palace.
The Toffees.
Eagles.
Toffees.
Eagles.